Okay, Max, we're expecting rain in about 9 or 10 minutes. What are your thoughts? Think you can get there, or should we box? We'd need to box this lap to cover Leclerc.
Yeah, I can't see the weather radar, can I? I don't know.
This is Paddock 43, the podcast, your weekly rundown giving you all things F1 from both on and off the track.
From races, trades, rumours, the lifestyle, and all the things that come with the F1 world.
We are Amy, Elle, and Pat. Let's get into it.
Welcome back, everyone. Hello, we
Hi.
are back with our episode 6,
We're up to 6 already.
and that's not including our minis.
We're flying.
We're killing it.
Killing it. Killing it.
We are boasting about ourselves.
Yes, we are.
And
As
I'm
we
here
should.
for it. We should, exactly.
As we should. But yes, we're back, baby. Obviously, very big weekend in terms of racing. How was everyone's weekends?
Well, it was such a big weekend in racing.
Besides the F1.
Besides the F1?
Yeah.
That's all I did all weekend.
Oh.
I literally watched every single moment of the F1 this weekend. I was supposed to be on a long weekend away in Red Hill.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Beach, and then Tom hurt his neck.
Oh.
So we left.
Oh.
And
That's
so
sad.
I made my weekend about the F1.
Love that.
Yeah, I realised.
That's not
I forgot that you were supposed to be away.
That's because I didn't go away, really, except for 12 hours. What about you guys?
Oh,
What did you do?
That's fun. I went to Sydney for the weekend.
Ooh.
Yeah. So I had one of my good friends' 30th. Spent a lot of time with friends and family. Saw my
Nice.
my new friend. My friend's new baby.
Domestic
Brand
traveler
new
over here.
baby. She's the cutest little baby.
Cute.
And I'm going to take her to the Grand Prix one day. And she'll have little headphones.
Oh, cute. Love that.
What did you do?
I was so excited because I was like, yes, I finally have nothing on. So,
You were at a party, weren't you?
well,
That's
this
nothing
is
on.
no, I did. Well, right. So Saturday, I was like, Peter, my partner, fiance. I just think it's a bit wanky saying fiance. For those that don't know, I'm getting married in a month actually, but that's a side note. They'll be virtual. But the good thing for me is that I will be on the same time zone. So I'll be watching races at normal times.
Jealous.
Whoop, whoop. Yeah, so Peter coaches basketball and his girls were in the final and they lost, which was actually a real shame. Shout out to the girls, you did amazing. But I literally went and had Japanese with my mum, and then Peter was like, oh, I'm going to have the team back at my house. My house was like, it was very fun, but it was like a frat house. Beer pong was being played. And my quiet night of me then coming home to watch the Grand Prix ended up in me having a late night playing beer pong. How old am I?
You still watched the Grand Prix though, because I woke up and there were messages from you.
I did.
And I was like, that's impressive. I was 110% asleep
No, yeah, I
in
did.
my grandma-esque life. I feel like
I wanted a grandma weekend.
one of these episodes, I am going to say that I did something exciting on the weekend.
You went travel
Yeah,
hunting once.
you either.
Yeah, but
Amy wasn't so fond of that.
No, it was disgusting.
but I feel like a grandma. Like I just need to do something else.
It's
You
also
guys, like,
winter.
it's
Yeah.
winter, but anyway, I fell in love with the sprint.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
That's
okay.
a big call.
I never thought that would happen. And
Makes one of
the
us.
sprint, ooh, I'm here for it.
It was good.
Oh, okay. Met my silence. Anyway, of course, there was also a lot of news that was coming up
Oh my gosh, so much
over
news.
the weekend.
It was nonstop.
Absolutely nonstop. Did you hear that the tyre blanket ban has been postponed to
Yes.
2025, which is interesting. So they're not ready to implement it next year.
Yeah.
Kind of happy about it.
Me too.
I don't know. It's just a fun little addition
Yeah.
to say. Tyre blanket. Just
Yeah.
sounds so wholesome. And
And it's
Sound wholesome, doesn't it?
yeah.
it's just so
It
cute.
feels good.
They're a bit cold. It's a bit chilly. Wrap
need
them in a
hugs.
blanket. They need some love.
It does feel good. And then obviously Alpine.
Yeah. Big
They-
changes there.
Boom, boom.
I am. There's just a shit show over there.
It is a shit
Do
show.
you reckon Ryan Reynolds is coming in and he'll be like, I'll be team principal?
Who can become strategist?
With so much experience.
Hey, Blake Lively might still be on the grid then.
Well,
Maybe.
That's what we wanted to say.
That's what we hope.
I wouldn't be surprised if Alpine just do a full shake up and they're like, we're doing new drivers, clearing out everything and just starting again.
I was thinking that
Yeah.
because I didn't realise that Alpine last weekend in Hungary, they're only one of 5 teams ever to have a double DNF, which is massive.
5 teams ever.
Yeah.
That's
To have a
pretty-
double DNF in the first, sector of the race.
History books the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
Sure.
That's not what you're going to be part of. What did you guys hear?
I was just going to say, for those at home that don't know, so the team principal Optmar Schaffnauer, that's how I think it is. Someone please correct me if I'm wrong.
No, we rely on you
Team
for
principal
pronunciation.
Otmar Schaffnauer and the sporting director, Alan Permain, have both left Alpine. Who's coming in?
They didn't even just leave. They got sacked.
They
just got
that was
sacked.
a sacking.
Yeah.
They said they're leaving immediately after this weekend.
You
And I was
got
like,
sacked.
You got sacked. Like
Yeah.
there's no hiding that. And then what happened in Ferrari as well?
Yeah, so Laurent Mekies finished up. So he was the racing director, but I think he was actually, that was in the pipeline for a bit. He's actually going over to AlphaTauri. It was just a matter of Red Bull and, again, I say Red Bull as the umbrella, Red Bull and Ferrari kind of coming up with a date that worked. So he actually finished up before the race.
I was going to say Otmar. He did he only join last year? I'm pretty sure. And now he's
Yeah.
already gone. It's a bad omen. Otmar, get out.
Gosh, that hurts. It's like you've clearly done a shit job.
Yeah.
I feel like Alpine just has bad juju
Poor Alpine.
over all of them at the moment.
I
Although,
agree.
we'll get into this. Oh, sorry. I had a bit of a testy pop there. I am a female, but that just went completely astray.
I did not understand what you meant. I was like, what? What is a testy pop?
Well, we'll get into it, but like Alex Albon did have a lot of straight line speed in the races.
It was interesting.
If we had to say one word to describe this weekend, I'll go first. Wet, not the good kind.
That took me a moment to register. It was wet.
Oh my God.
It was. I like rain, but that was just too much.
It wasn't 2021 wet.
This is my hair
It
wet,
was
wet.
This is my hair wet.
Is the track wet? Is the track wet?
It was wet, and it was not good.
And the tyre strategy was up.
They struggled with the tires. It's like it's wet, it's dry, it's dry. No, it's wet. Then you could see Lewis having to like veer off the line to go into the wet part of the track to try and cool down the tires.
I know.
There was a lady in the Red Bull garage wearing a Ferrari hat.
I saw that.
Oh my gosh,
And
yeah.
Christian was just like, no. And he put a sticker on her. And then the Ferrari social media team retaliated. And then they went up to the garage of Red Bull and they started putting Ferrari stickers everywhere. And I was like,
I didn't
No,
see that.
they put one sticker and they were like, they filmed it and said, try find this.
yeah, come back.
And then
find
after
it.
Ferrari, and then they posted them taking it down, and then Ferrari posted Carlos Sainz like on the top of his car, like pointing at his badge, like smiling, proud, Scuderia proud.
We also saw in practice Logan's car. He seemed to aquaplane out. He just sort of stopped and they didn't really confirm what that was, but it looked like it was aquaplaning because there was so much spray
Oh my
behind
gosh.
each car and they were really struggling. If you were behind another F1 car, you were not seeing anything.
Yeah. See, I think on that track, if they were on like the full wets, they would have been fine to drive if the visibility wasn't an issue. It's like it would be fine to drive them, but it's just because they can't see anything.
Yeah.
At one point when they were going around, I think Carlos was behind Lewis, and I was like, can they just show Carlos's like onboard camera? So I just wanted to see what he was seeing and they didn't. I was like, what are you doing?
You got to go into Sky News and
I know,
switch the red
I
button.
couldn't be bothered.
You got to pay for it as well. It's
I already pay for enough F1 stuff.
It's just an extra payment. Well, McLaren had upgrades to the back of the car to minimise some drag.
Yeah, but their downforce was shit. So
Well, they did all right in other elements. It was just the race that they.
yeah, no, okay, yes, okay. I totally forgot about sprint then. But anyway,
Yeah. Well, I was having a giggle to myself in the practice.
A giggle or a Google?
A giggle.
Yep.
A giggle, not a Google.
Yep.
a Google and Google.
There was a picture of Carlos, Oscar, and Lando. And I couldn't help but think the three of them together look like they're about to go on a Lord of the Rings mission.
Is that because of their height
I don't know. It was just
and
like
their thick necks?
We're off to see
maybe
the
it's-
wizard.
I don't know what it was.
F1 hobbits.
But you see this photo of the three of them together, I'm like, they look like they're looking for a ring.
Oh my God. It's like whenever they say the F1 stewards, I always think of like Lord of the Rings or Game of Thrones and like the big tables with them all sitting around the table. So that's just all I picture. And these like scary men just staring at you.
Well, practice also showed Oscar. His personality came on out.
I told you he has a personality.
But I think that's because other people have been calling for it because he's obviously done well since Silverstone. So everyone wants to know, who is this guy? And McLaren's now trying to showcase that.
Yeah.
And he
I wonder if he has coaching.
funny.
I wonder if he has coaching. I think as well he's just the
Funny
more
coaching.
time he not funny coaching, but just like obviously they have media training and all
I
that.
hire my comedian to come in and teach me how to say things.
His mum teaches him.
Oh, she's a good mum.
But no, I think the more time he spends in front of the camera, the more comfortable he gets, the more confident he gets, and we're here for it.
Well, he's
Yeah.
got a dry sense of humour with like the
Yep.
Verstappen energy, as you called last week. And it's good. And I reckon some point this year, he's going to get a podium.
Oh,
100%.
100%.
I know it.
I think in
100%.
the
Feel it.
next, maybe, obviously we have summer break now, but in the next 6 races, I think a podium. I remember one of the Sky Sports commentators mentioned at some point over the weekend, I think it was before the sprint race, who was like, the irony that the main sponsor of the Spa GP is a cruise ship company. And they're like, there's no F1 cars out there, but it's fit for a cruise ship.
I was going to say it's wet enough to be out there. All those spectators, they looked drenched and they're camping as well.
Muddy.
I would love to go to Spa one day though. The elevation changes and just being up there. You look like you see 4 seasons.
It looks
do.
so pretty.
Yeah. Well, they say it can be absolutely pouring on one part of the track and then like drizzling.
Well, that's what
or
it looked like
dry
in the
on
race.
the other.
When they said it started raining and I was like, well, it's sunny when we're on Max, but then it's raining when we're on Daniel. So
And then it was like pissing down at pit lane.
Yeah.
yeah. I love it when like Red Bull like puts their arms out and they like, have to feel the rain.
It's like, oh, wait, no,
They
let me just
can't-
check. Is it
Yeah,
raining?
they can't check the
radar
radar.
is
They're
not
like,
enough.
I have to feel it.
It's not
And it just reminds me of Mean Girls.
It's already raining.
I was going to say, yeah, it reminds me of Mean Girls.
There's a 30% chance it's already
That
raining.
is Christian Horner to a T, in my opinion.
Love him.
So what do you guys think of qualifying?
I thought it was just kind of normal. I think Q1 was fun. Wet to dry track again.
Wet to dry track. It was nearly delayed.
Oh my gosh.
It happened.
The amount of delays, I'm pretty sure there's more delay time than actual race time.
The thing that annoyed me in Q1 was Danny. He was 6.
And then
He was going
Lap
to finish
time.
that.
deleted.
Yeah.
Eject. Deleted.
Eject.
So frustrating.
Yeah.
That really, I was sitting there watching it and I was like, oh my God.
I was
He's
so
doing it.
excited. I was like, he did it. He's doing it. And then he didn't.
That's what it felt like. And then he didn't.
F1 stewards, can you just like give him a whole pass?
Who would have known where that would have placed him in the rest of qualifying?
Yeah, but Lando off into the gravel, damaged his car, damaged the
Not
floor,
a great weekend for
damaged
him.
the diffuser.
There was a few of them.
Yeah, he got on the power too early and lost control. As in my notes, I say dum dum. Dum dum written. Well, talk about Mercedes sending George and Lewis out early to sit at the end of pit lane for 6 minutes.
Oh,
I was like, they're so scarred from last weekend. They want them out as soon as possible.
they were keen beans.
6 minutes would be like an eternity as well.
Yeah.
Way too
Especially
keen
out
beans
there.
for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was Yuki was fourth fastest.
Yeah, Yuki did well.
Yeah.
It was a real mixed grid in like every element of this weekend, which is what made it interesting.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, where like the weather and the tyre strategies really came in.
Ooh, tyre strategy was big. Q2. What did you guys think?
Max almost getting knocked out.
I cannot believe
I kind of wish
He
it
finished
happened.
10th.
I know.
It
kind
would have
of-
been so
It
interesting.
would have been good, especially because we knew that he already had a penalty
Yeah.
for changing his gearbox, so that wherever he finished for the grid on Sunday, he had a 5-place penalty.
It would have been a challenge for him anyway.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like
Challenge accepted.
Maybe they should reverse the grid in the next race.
What, so
You know.
Haas's are up front?
Yeah,
Speaking of Haas, actually,
Yeah,
Magnussen did really
yeah,
well this weekend.
Yeah.
he did.
Did very well.
Well, questionable.
Came Mag
There
into
were,
Q2.
there were moments. There was
Yeah,
moments. But Max also, when he finished number 10 in Q2, he blamed his engineer. Look at
I
the
think
old parent
I
couple.
feel like they just Sky Sports just blew that up for absolutely no reason. Like it's probably like their usual banter.
Yeah.
But Sky Sports like, oh my god, there's tension. But
It was a lot though, and it continued out throughout the whole weekend. And I was like,
I loved it.
I love
Who's
it.
going to lose their job?
Well, GP, his engineer, ended up on the podium.
Yeah.
Max won the race, by the way, but I'm assuming you already know that because you're listening
You're
to
not-
this
yeah.
2 days
Yeah.
after the race. So I'm not spoiling anything here for you. But yeah, he blamed his engineer. And his engineer was like, what do you want us to do about it? And Max just threw a tantrum. He's just funny.
I'm about the Max tantrums.
Are you?
Yeah, I find them hilarious.
But then Max
Like, pop
obviously
off.
forgot about the moment he went off the track and he nearly did what Ocon did. So Ocon went
Yeah.
off the track and crashed his car and he went straight into the gravel, into the barrier. Max nearly did that and he was blaming his engineer for that.
It's like Max, that was just an error
Would
of
it be-
your own.
yeah.
Own up to it.
And that was on the, I think it's called No Name Corner. And that's
apparently it
where
actually has a name, but they just call it no name.
the Jackie Eck
Yeah.
or something like that.
But I think
they've
Jackie
recently
Egg
named.
doesn't want to claim it.
Yeah,
hasn't
I think there's
claimed
something
it,
weird
so now
about
it's-
it.
yeah.
But everyone was
Interesting.
everyone was having, not crashing, but like having moments on that corner where they were
Cursed.
sliding out. Yeah, it's a cursed corner. It's the Nico Rossenberg corner.
Yeah.
Oh
He
my
needs
God.
to post a photo with it.
How funny was McLaren putting up the post?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
No Nico,
No Nico
selfies.
selfies.
No selfies.
There obviously was a
Please,
little bit of chaos
no.
for Nico there.
Too
Yeah.
funny. Well, obviously, Charles Leclerc starting on podium.
Oh, you would have been happy with Ferrari.
I was so happy.
Ferrari had a good one.
Ferrari, McLaren in that starting line.
Also, Piastri had the fastest middle sector in Q2.
Yeah.
I was like, yes.
He did so
Go
well.
you little Aussie
Pat
king.
and I are sitting here absolutely eating our
I know.
words.
I'm eating mine a little bit less though. As in
Why?
Because I then came back with my thoughts that he's the next Max Verstappen, you know?
Then why are you eating your words?
I ate my bad words, but then I had some good words to
And I'm not eating my words of Carlos because he ruined Oscar's weekend, but we can get into that.
Yeah, that made
I
me
have some opinions
mad.
about that one.
sprint shootout.
It was pouring.
Oh, my lordy lord.
I was so over it. I was like, can this just start already?
Well, because they were delaying the start, each driver had to carry more fuel in their car as well. And they were saying that was going to impact everything. I think they were carrying an extra 15 kilograms of fuel in their car to get round for the sprint shootout,
Wow.
which
Jeez.
is a lot of sloshing going
Yeah.
on. Ted Kravitz was like out on the pit walk being like, with bottles of water being like, now this is 7.5 and this is 7.5 and Marion carrying this in your car, like, because usually they would refuel very quickly
Yeah.
and do little bits, but because of the weather they couldn't risk pitting too much, so
Yeah.
they just had to get out there and make sure that the tires and the weight all just really fell into that moment.
Gosh, it's pretty crazy just how, I'm sorry, but I'm just looking at a screen. Like the elevation changes in Belgium
It's amazing.
at Spa are just,
Yeah.
It's
Crazy.
amazing.
Anyway, sorry. So back to sprint shootout. I have in capital letters Oscar Piastri, yeah boy. And then there was a 0.011 second margin difference between him and Max.
You know what I feel like they need to do?
Yes.
I reckon this would be, I don't know if they've done this before. I think it would be really cool. But at the end of the qualifying sessions, you have like, you show Max's lap, but then have like ghost cars of all the other cars to see where
kind
they
of.
are.
Oh, yeah.
On like Mario Kart, they do that.
Yeah, like a Mario
At the
Kart.
end, yeah.
At the end.
So
And you can
a
see.
full Veloce simulation.
Yeah, I just think it'd be really cool to see at the end of qualifying, just watch everyone go around and see how close they are. Because like we see the numbers, but we don't see it visually.
Yeah.
And I think it'd be
that's-
really cool to see it visually. So
Yeah.
F1,
if
you're listening, please do it.
They should be listening.
Anyone.
What are you talking about? Are they not listening?
We're the best.
They're the best.
Guys.
Well, sprint shootout 1, Huss, Kevin, he just got out. But Nico Hülkenberg, he missed the line to start his lap.
Poor guy.
Didn't even get out. He was just still hanging back.
He was dancing in the rain.
Seriously was.
Like
It's
Mary
like he was
Poppins.
doing the rain dance to like make it stop or something like that. And then when we go to sprint shootout 2, Lance crashed.
Yeah.
28
Oh, my
seconds to
gosh.
go. Red flag. He was fine.
Oh, because he went out on the slicks.
Yeah.
But then Alonso wasn't able to get his time because he came out just before the red flag.
Neither was Albon or Logan Sargent.
Also, speaking about Alonso, happy birthday, Alonso. Not a great birthday for
Not a
you.
great
Horrible
birthday.
birthday.
And Danny was also out in sprint shootout 2 with the 4 members that didn't get times. He was the only one of the 5 that actually got a time.
That is very sad.
I would feel
Very,
so
very sad.
annoyed that you're part of that bottom 5 in that elimination zone to not get a
You
time.
get nothing.
Sorry, you get a time and no one else does and you're still
Yeah.
out.
That'd be pretty upsetting.
I'd always want to be to the FIA. Just let him in. One more.
Just bump him up.
One more. Come on.
Bump him up.
Why not?
But yeah, because FIA didn't actually declare the session wet. But there was a full mix-up with the FIA, and the FIA actually came out and said that we stuffed up. Yeah. Yes.
Logan Sargent also spun out.
All spinning out. What he was on No Name Corner spin out?
I think
Is
so.
that it?
Yeah.
That corner is just getting everyone.
Seriously getting everyone.
Bow, bow.
And 2020 was the last time that Oscar raced at Spa.
Oscar.
Piastri.
Oh, yes, I did. Yes, I heard that.
And not even in an F1 car. So
It's
that was his
insane.
first time in an F1 car
At Spa.
at Spa.
Crazy.
And
Look at how well he did.
he was something like 8/10 quicker in sector 2. And he just beat Max. I think it was by like, if you're looking at meterage and inches, it was probably like 3 inches or something like that. No, sorry, Max just beat him by about that.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
He did so well. What a good weekend for
Well, I
you,
think-
Mr. Piastri.
But they were saying, yeah, Oscar is the best McLaren rookie to come out since Lewis
I
Hamilton.
think he's
Yep.
one of the best rookies.
Yep.
Oh,
to come out.
100%.
He's absolutely killing it. It was
Yeah.
funny though when, you know, how they, after the sprint shootout, they all sort of drive into the pit and they do 1, 2, 3 and they weigh themselves and all of that. And they're interviewing Oscar and Oscar's like, yeah, that was good. Like second, really happy. But was that really a race? Is this a podium?
Oh, yes, I did hear that.
I
Yeah.
was like, oh,
Yeah. I mean, be
Okay.
happy with what you have, though. I know as well
Little muffin.
over the weekend, and I need to double check the Drivers' Championship now after the actual race. But Piastri over the weekend pre-race was in the top 10. So he was already in the top 10 of Drivers' Championships, which
amazing.
is amazing.
Legend. In the sprint shootout. So turns out if Charles didn't lose it at turn 9, it lost him 4/10, which would have had him on pole.
Wow.
So he would have had pole if he didn't.
Could have been a double pole
Yeah,
for him
imagine.
this weekend.
You would have been happy. Double pole for Ferrari.
You would have been very happy this weekend. I
would
was
have.
thinking of Pat all week.
It was a rolling wet start that got delayed and delayed and delayed.
And delayed.
It was supposed to be 16 laps, and then we had 5 under the safety car.
It was just so annoying.
And then as soon as that safety car was gone, half the field pitted all at once.
Yeah. Obviously the Hamilton-Perez crash as well. Oh, no good.
Indeed.
I was like, oh no, not Checo.
Checo was really sliding down that grid. And then Gasly was 6 and he climbed to 3 by lap 2. Checo really wanted that spot. He was fighting hard, but then obviously he had a little bit of an incident and slid right down the grid.
That top 9, not including Max Verstappen, my heart was so happy. I'm going to read it. It was Oscar, second, aka first, Pierre, Carlos, Charles, Lando, Hamilton, George, Ocon, and Danny.
This is why I loved the sprint this weekend. There was so much drama and there was so much happening. And, Oscar just sat behind Max's tail that whole time.
And Oscar just leading for a few laps as well.
Oh, that
was so nice.
Stunning to see.
I would have been imagine being Oscar just driving and seeing Max just coming up the back.
That was good. Well, because Oscar pitted right away.
Yeah.
As soon as the safety car was gone
Max
and switched
stayed
tyres.
out.
And Max stayed out. And then Oscar held that lead. I think it was for about 4 laps.
Yeah.
And then Max took the lead at about lap 6. So he held him off for a decent amount of time.
He did.
Yeah.
Like,
did.
pretty damn impressive. And then obviously Alonso, the birthday boy, went straight into a wall.
I thought it was Stroll.
What a way to spend your birthday.
I was like, oh, it's Lance Stroll. And I was
Yeah.
like, wait, nope, it's Fernando.
No, because Stroll did that earlier.
Yeah,
in
he already did
qualifying.
it. Yeah.
And the same corner as well. And so I think Alonso just gave it too much throttle. And then he just spun around a few times. He did like a few 360s.
I love when that happens.
And it looked like he was about to like bang into the barrier, but I think he just kissed it, but the car was gone.
Big weekend, and then obviously takes us into race day.
Sergio back on the front row since Miami.
Yeah.
Attaboy.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
And Huckelberg started from the garage, from the race. Did you see that?
Did
He didn't even start on the grid. Yeah.
I didn't actually
What
see
was
that.
that? Was that
from the
because
pit.
he'd
They were fixing his car so it start from the pit.
Yes. Yep.
So he came on out.
Hülkenberg.
But then that turn 1,
Oh my gosh.
Carlos, what are you doing?
I was so excited because I knew Oscar was right up there, and I was like, "What's going to happen?" And then Carlos, I know he's your man, Pat, but
Oh,
he
that
gave
annoyed
Oscar
me.
no room,
But
Oscar had a lot of room, and then
and Carlos just drove him into that wall. There was no way.
But then I was listening to an interview with Naomi Sheaf, and she was saying, which maybe I'm biased, but I somewhat agree, that the drivers have their blind spots. And originally watching it live, it definitely looked like it was Carlos's fault. But then when they played it back and watching it from his camera and watching, he was in a blind spot. So he actually couldn't see him.
but
How did he
then
not see him?
no, but
He
then
was in a blind spot.
I don't think that's true.
It's okay,
he
Carlos.
knew.
in the
I got you.
interviews afterwards, Carlos was like, "No, it was Oscar's fault. It's his lack of experience." Well, guess what, Carlos? Maybe your lack of
know what?
experience should have known better not to freaking dive into the corner like that.
I reckon Carlos was paid to fix the race.
Oh,
Get rid of Oscar.
Christ.
Does that happen in F1?
No.
Who knows? There's,
No
there's a lot of
way.
money floating around, so who knows?
No.
I don't think they
No,
need
he was
more money.
but no, yeah. No, he was in a blind spot.
I don't think. It was
I
a
feel
blind spot.
bad for Oscar. It was crap. And obviously really crap for Carlos as well. And like the fact that he tried to stay out there and was like,
He was trying.
I'll give him. He
trying.
He stayed
Yeah.
out there for a while, and I think it was on lap 2. He was like, "What is the damage?" And it was something like 5% aero balance damage,
Yeah.
which was quite big. And when did he retire? I think it must have been like lap 29.
Something. He
or something
gave
like
it a
that,
good-
lap 20.
He gave it a good try
Yeah.
and A for effort.
He tried.
A for effort indeed.
A for effort. But I was thinking like, oh, how nice. You know, at that point you're just like, okay, it's shit. I'm not going to get any points, but it's the summer break, baby.
I know. I was thinking of that when, especially Oscar was out. I was like, oh, well, his summer holidays start early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Doesn't matter. He can
Doesn't
go
matter.
crack a beer in the garage.
he got a
and-
kind of podium in the sprint where he's like, is this even a race?
He got a medal.
He got a medal and a little trophy. It
And
still counts. It's his first podium. I think it's exciting.
It is. And I was going to
happy
say,
for him.
speaking of starting your summer holidays early, I was laughing at Lando's posts. I was looking at his
Tomorrowland?
I was looking at his Instagram
Oh my
and it was
God.
like however many hours ago at Belgium Grand Prix and then like 4 hours later he's backstage at Tomorrowland.
Yeah.
My sister's there and I'm like, Caitlin,
Go hang out with
Find him.
Lando.
He
Find
got a helicopter
him.
there as well.
Yeah.
And he was
His
just like,
seltzer?
I was going to say, sinking seltzers on the helicopter
What?
and he kind of looked
Yeah.
drunk already.
alive.
I know.
Like going and just
He's absolutely living his best life at the moment. And go
Well, he
him.
didn't live his best life during the race, but yeah.
McLaren's downforce was just not there. Their speed was not there.
No.
Nothing was there. But
Nothing was working out for them. I mean, Lando did. I think he slipped down to 12th at one point, and then he climbed up to 5th. And
When he changed to the
finished 6th or
slicks.
7th, yeah, they all had a 3 pit stop strategy, which was quite big because one point there was rain, and then it wasn't really that bad, and then they all started on, was it the mediums? Most of them started on. But because the track had been wet all weekend,
Yeah.
there wasn't even really like much grip on the track, so that
no.
wasn't working. So they were
Yeah.
changing quickly. So tyre strategy was
Insane.
up and insane. And one of like the only good things about such poor driving and so much strategy was that at one point Daniel climbed up.
Yeah.
And he was like sitting
Yeah.
at like 8th at one
I
point.
saw
And
that.
I was
I
like,
was-
oh my God, Daniel's going to get points.
oh my God, I thought he was going to stay there, but he did not.
No.
I was a bit sad about that.
And it was a real mixed top 10 for a good half of the race.
Yeah.
Both Alpines there.
Yep.
Yuki, Stroll.
Yuki was my driver of the day.
He did do a
Really?
good job. I agree
Yeah.
with that. He
He's
did a
my-
great job.
When I saw Max got driver of the day, I was like, come on.
Yeah.
Give it to someone. Just give it to someone else.
It's because he started 6th.
Yeah, I
Not
kind of
first.
think Max
That's fine.
deserved it, but at the same time, I get it. It's like when you look at the cards that he has, as in the
just got a
car
really
he
fast
has,
car.
obviously he's going to do well, and we know how experienced, like how well he drives. So obviously, it's like not as nice, but I do think he did kind of deserve
He
it.
did do well.
Yeah,
Well, I just love Max's lover's quarrel with his
engineer.
radio engineer having a little tiffs.
Do you know what
Back
was
and
funny? I think it was like lap 14 and he was having his little tiff and the engineer was like, just follow my instructions, just follow my instructions. And he was like, are we going to? And he's like, no, just follow my instructions. And literally 2 seconds later, Perez pits and he had the slowest pit, 3.2 second
Yeah.
pit.
That was bad.
I was like, well, that is
Or-
ironic.
When the radio engineer GP said to Max, there's rain coming, do you want a box? Max is like, well, I can't see the radar, so
Oh
you
my
tell
God,
me what
yes.
to do. And then he goes,
And there was-
do you want me to come in for a little bit of a pit stop practice? And I was like, ooh.
The cockiness.
I know.
The
man
apparently
just-
they've been together since like 2018. Oh, it could be earlier actually.
Maybe something did happen. Let's investigate. Elle, your driver of the day.
Ooh, I got to say, my driver of the day was Charles.
Charles.
He held on.
He did.
fought.
Dear life.
He did.
He did. Yeah, he fought out. And my controversial opinion of the weekend and rumor going into the silly season is, what would happen if McLaren ditched Oscar and he went to Red Bull and Checo went to McLaren and Charles or Carlos went somewhere else and Danny went to Ferrari?
Are you high?
Yeah, are you high? I'm not seeing that at all.
Oh, okay. That is my controversial opinion for the day.
I don't think Lando and Oscar are going anywhere. I think they're both
I know Lando
equally. They're
but
happy with McLaren. McLaren's happy with them.
I think Lando is happy, but I think Oscar is a little bit annoyed, and Mark Webber obviously has the connections with Red Bull. And I can see Christian being like, I want fresh meat.
I
Let's
ca-
get rid of Checo, bring in Oscar. And then obviously there's, contract conversations going on at Ferrari. What if Danny moved to Ferrari? Is that a possibility?
I don't think so.
I think I can see Oscar going to Red Bull, but in the future.
Yeah.
Like a 5-year plan.
I could see it in like a 1-year plan.
I feel like Oscar's really he's serious. He knows what he wants to do.
Well, I mean, I guess we saw him ditch Alpine.
Yeah.
So
And he didn't care.
He
He
does-
was like, this is not for me.
No.
he
Loyal.
does what he
Not-
wants to do,
Yeah.
and if he wants to go to Red Bull. But then I also don't think that he would want to go to Red Bull knowing that he has a second seat. Because it's probably more likely that he will have the first seat at McLaren if he keeps
I
performing.
don't think Lando will go anywhere though.
I don't think Lando will go.
Yeah.
No, I
But
don't think
he
I don't
even
think
said-
Lando will go, but the seat swapping.
Lando even said though to Naomi Schiff, he's like, I want to win championships.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In Papaya. That
Yeah.
was his thing. And I can see him staying there. I feel like that's his
Yeah.
family, and I think he felt pressure from Oscar this weekend, and it maybe got to his head a little bit, but also there's obviously something a bit wrong with the dynamics of the car that
The car just didn't like
No.
Spa-Francorchamps.
when they love the rain as well.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Sorry. One other thing that happened this weekend. I think it was before sprint shootout, and one of the reporters was speaking to Verstappen, and they're like, oh, Verstappen, before the sprint race, they're saying, oh, it's starting to rain and we know the McLarens like the rain, Max. And he was like, so do I, and walked off.
Oh,
That's hilarious.
Maxie boy.
Love him.
Side note, our darling Elle had to leave us.
Oh yes, we forgot to mention
Got to mention that. So it's just you and I right now,
Yes.
Ames. Yeah, no, she had to go, but we are still here. So something that obviously needs to be mentioned as well, which got brought up quite a bit this weekend, is obviously safety at the track, because as we've seen, there's been a lot of crashes at Spa. We know Antoine 2019 and Dylan Van Hoff, who passed away, when was it, in July? I think,
yeah.
that we spoke about him. And there's that very scary corner, and when it rains, and it was interesting though, because Martin Brundle was having a chat about it, and he was saying how changes and management that goes into the cars, and how to ensure safety, there is safety. But then he was saying about like mind managing the fear. So the driver's mind.
Okay.
Yeah. So which I thought was interesting. He was like, every F1 driver, every driver goes into this sport knowing, which I understand, knowing there's risks and all of that. But yeah, the mind managing the fear, I thought that's terrifying.
I don't know. Like, especially that corner.
Yeah.
Because I swear there was a few times where they brought up actually taking it off the calendar.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, at what point would they take it off the calendar? Like, how many more deaths do they need
I know.
to take it off the calendar? But then I think it was at Silverstone they did the testing with like, was it the rear wing flaps to try and help disperse the water? But apparently it didn't actually work too well. So never mind.
Scrap that.
Scrap that. Like, I think they are trying to work on something for visibility, but they're just not there yet.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought that was obviously something that, needed to be mentioned. And it's tricky as well because it's such a historical track. And as much as we could say cancel it, I don't even think any of the drivers would want it cancelled.
No.
It's more about kind of rallying and when the weather is that bad. I think at the beginning of the weekend, Carlos, George, they were saying we're not going to go out if it continues to be like this.
Yeah, they did the right thing over the weekend to delay it as much as they did. As much as it would have been shit for...
We're being brats about
I know,
it.
I know.
had to wait.
Like, I don't want to do that. Like not having as much, track time. But then at the end of the day, it's for their safety.
Exactly.
So, you know what? If you get less viewing, at least they're alive.
Exactly.
So, shush.
Agreed. I actually had forgotten this, but Belgium is also a home track for Max.
Yeah.
So his dad is Dutch, his mum is Belgian, and he was born in Belgium. And do you know who's the other Belgian on the track?
I should know this.
Lando.
What?
Yeah, Lando is half Belgian.
Is he? Oh, there
Yep.
you go.
Yep.
Lando, you had a shocker at a home race.
Lance Stroll also has his Belgian citizenship.
Lance Stroll.
Yep.
Plot twist. What?
Yeah. So I think that was kind of everything for race day, race weekend. Obviously, summer break's coming.
Yay.
Summer break for the drivers, not for us.
Or the rest of the team.
Or for the rest of the team. No, they are going to be working their little tushies away.
Yes. While the drivers are on their yachts and
Eating yummy food.
Frolicking.
Frolicking. Floricking. Frolicking.
Okay, yes. Frolicking around Europe.
Yes.
The team principals and all the staff are going to be, working their little butts off.
Fair enough. They deserve their holidays, but I'm really excited for some of the races that are coming up second half.
Me too. I'm
Yeah.
excited for Singapore.
Yeah.
I just love Singapore.
I'm just so excited for
Even if you're like a hotel, restaurant or anything, if you have a view of the track,
Oh, yes.
they have to pay $1,000 per head.
Crazy.
$1,000.
It'll be good for the economy though.
Does Vegas need it though?
I know. They generate enough money.
Vegas will be very interesting.
Yeah, it'll be exciting. But yeah, so summer break next 4 weeks. We'll be back in the Netherlands in Zandvoort.
But silly season as well.
Silly season.
Do you have any
Predictions?
Yeah. No prediction for silly season.
Do you know, I'm not entirely sure because I feel like we've thrown around so many potential predictions.
Well, Els was
Els
Rogue.
was definitely rogue. That is absolutely not happening. I know. I definitely don't see any of the McLaren drivers moving at least for the year. I have no idea what's going to happen here, but it'll be interesting to see what happens at Alpine, especially
Yeah.
with all the changes they're having. I really hope there's no changes at Ferrari.
as in driver changes or
Yeah. But
Yeah, I
I'm
don't see that.
I'm fearful. Do we think Logan's going to be booted?
Maybe.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe.
But
But
then-
then 1 point. But then who will come in?
Yeah, exactly.
Who are they going to get? Is Jack Doohan's reserve for Alpine?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
If anything, maybe some seat changes, but not necessarily. I'm not seeing any new drivers coming in.
No,
We will be back in your ears next week, but
we're always here.
we're
not
always here.
leaving.
But yeah, the Dutch Grand Prix. So they'll be on their summer break, and then they'll be back on the 25th of August. I will actually be flying out to Barcelona on the 25th. So I'm going to be watching the races. Zooming in. And I'll watch the races. I don't know if I'll be able to from the airplane, actually. Emirates, if you're listening. Can I?
There was a time where you were able to live stream sport.
Yeah?
I
Okay.
don't know if you can still do it though.
Okay, well,
You can try.
yeah, I need to figure out.
But we have some interviews lined up for you, which is really exciting.
Very exciting.
So yes, while there's no races, we're trying to think of the most creative ways to keep us going.
Well, no, we've got lots to talk about.
Yeah, we do.
We've got, I think with silly season, we might eat our words and we might have too much to speak about. And then we're going to say we wish there was not so much
Oh,
going
that
on.
happened last year. I remember us sitting, I was like, it's silly season. What now? There was nothing. Then all of a sudden it was like,
All
the
the
F1
things
world
happening.
exploded.
Yeah.
It's like, all righty then.
We actually did get a couple of questions to our Instagram and we thought, why not answer them? Because that's what they're there for. We want to
give it a go.
give it a go. We want to keep the conversation going. So what do you think? Is Ferrari going to be better than Aston Martin? What are your thoughts, Amy?
Possibly.
Yep.
I think, because I'm pretty sure Ferrari are bringing in more of their upgrades after summer break.
Yep.
So we'll see what happens there. And Aston Martin just seems to be kind of tumbling down the ranks at the moment. But
Yep.
they also have upgrades coming. So it's hard. I feel like they're on par at the moment. Like difference in positioning on like the constructors and drivers, but I don't know. I just feel like they're given the same energy.
Yeah.
But I do think Ferrari will end up there.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, I feel like I don't want to vocalize this because, for example, last week when we were like, I want to see Ferrari on the podium. But then I was like, actually, I take that back. I'll just put some Aston Martins up there. But no, I tend to agree. I do think that Ferrari will be better. I think as well, they're obviously really striving to get up there in the constructors. They obviously know that they won't, even though they say that they are trying to be on par with Red Bull instructors. That's not going to happen. But I always typically think like the way I see a Constructors Championship is I really hope for Ferrari to at least get third where they can beat out. This is me personally.
Yeah.
Where they can beat out McLaren and Aston. But yeah, I think we saw that in that first half of the year, Aston was doing quite well. But I think as well the races that we're going to see after the summer break are the type of races that a Ferrari car favours a little bit.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, who knows what...
It'll be a good battle.
It'll be a good battle. Who knows what the future holds. And hopefully, hopefully they both figure out how to drive, but also some good strategies. You know, maybe they just need a nice summer rest, a break.
And a bit of vitamin D.
A bit of vitamin D, and then they can come into the second half of the year stronger.
And it's hard seeing Fernando as well because he was going so well. And it's like if you took, as we've said, like take Max out of the equation. And right now it'd be really cool to see if Fernando was at the top and it'd be like everyone would be like, oh my God, he's going to be able to like hold his position. What's going to happen?
Yeah.
Whereas I guess we're still doing that just from 2-3 and beyond.
2-3 and beyond.
Will Max get a mechanical DNF for the rest of the year?
Yeah, originally when I read this, I felt like I misread it, but now I understand. I think this person's trying to say, do we think that Max will get a DNF at all?
Yeah.
For the remainder of the year. I don't wish badly on anyone, but it would make things a bit more interesting.
I wouldn't mind it.
Yeah.
Like I don't want anything bad to happen. I just, just some hydraulic issues.
Yeah.
Something minor.
Like nothing's happened to the Red Bull car this year.
Just
Well,
nothing
at
has
least
happened.
Max's anyway. But nothing technical or anything like that. All the cars that we've seen get DNFs are just, the engine fails or the
brakes or the
brakes
hydraulics
fail.
or it's like a front wing or there's something.
And we haven't seen that. Do we think Max will get one? Let's say statistically speaking, no.
I think he could possibly go undefeated for the rest of the season at this state.
Yeah. I think that too. I think we're going to be, everyone should start learning the Dutch national anthem because
we're going to be hearing it a lot more.
We're going to be hearing it a lot more.
How many more trophies do you think of his will be broken?
Hopefully no more.
No more handmade ones at least.
No more handmade ones. Oh, the porcelain. Speaking of Max being undefeated for the rest of the year, I even think that Checo's, unless he gets a little too relaxed over the summer break, but I think his butt's been kicked into gear and now he just wants to stay up there.
Yeah, it was nice seeing Checo actually race this weekend again.
Yeah. Yes, but again,
questions of the week.
Questions of the week. Let us know your thoughts and we will keep posting and you keep messaging us. And also our mini-series. We've got some exciting mini-series episodes coming up. But thank you so much for listening and we'll be back in your ears next week.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
I don't know if you know this about me, but it's my 200th Grand Prix.
I had heard that,
Yeah, it's kind of a deal, this neck of the woods.